Hello, my name's Paul McCarthy with Hero Facility Services, and this is episode 20 of Facilities First. I'm lucky enough today to have one of the best connectors in facilities, great guy and a friend of mine, Steve Ward. Why don't you join us?
Hey, how you doing, Paul?
Good, good, good. How's everything going?
It's going busy as always, but that's the life of facilities, right?
Exactly, exactly. Well, thanks for joining me. And you know that we may go anywhere with this, but
Right.
let's start off with some rapid fire. So,
Absolutely.
give me the first word that comes to mind when I say them: coffee, energy drink, or straight chaos.
It's got to be coffee. Homicide's frowned upon, my friend.
Favorite part of the facilities industry?
Ooh, I'd say probably the camaraderie and team mentality that comes with it.
Awesome. Most underrated skill in facilities?
The ability to keep track of everything during the chaos.
For my vendors, one thing vendors get wrong when they network.
Ooh, I'd say being pushy, right? Genuineness transforms and translates through everything. Nobody likes pushy salespeople, right?
Yep,
Business should come casual. Build a friendship first, and the business will come.
exactly. Exactly. Uh, this is going to be a good one. One word that people would use to describe you:
Uh, Charismatic.
charismatic. City fitness walkthrough, sneakers or dress shoes?
100% sneakers. You got to be comfortable.
Connects FM in one word.
Uh, Connection. I mean, that's literally where the name comes from, right?
Yeah.
Connection and facilities management connects FM.
Yep. Last one. Best networking advice you ever got?
Just to be yourself, right? You got to be genuine. Nobody wants to get to know you and then find out that down the road it was all facade that you just put on.
Yeah. Yeah. And so Peyton's going to love me because I'm going to take a pivot already because you said something about when we talked about vendors
Mm-hmm.
is, you know, don't be pushy, build a relationship. And I think that's something that from, and I don't like using the word sales, but from my position, I'm starting to see a shift into a relationship more style sales. Are you seeing that as well?
Absolutely, and I think organizations like Connexer, I think, are a big part of that because people are starting to see the value of building relationships, and that's why I think you don't see so much the title sales anymore. You see business development, right? Because that's really what it's about. Your job is to grow the business, and one of the ways that you're going to grow the business is by bringing in new clients. And the easiest way to get a new client is to become friends with somebody because guess what? I like doing business with people that I'm friends with. It's people that I can trust.
Exactly, exactly, and that's that's one of the cool things when you do have that friendship. Because I'll be honest, on the vendor side, it's a lot easier for me to get a call from you and say, "All right, JA, you know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
You messed up on this, and we can talk through it because there's that trust that's already built in that
Yeah,
friendship that we have."
exactly.
So that's just a good word of advice for anybody new in facilities, anybody on the vendor side. Remember that our facility managers, they're human too.
Yeah,
And
we're
don't
people.
be a used car salesman. Sorry if you're watching and you used car salesman. So we talked about Connects a little bit, and I'm going to call you kind of the mayor of Connects. So, I mean, this year I walk up to you, shake your hand, and you're introducing me to people left and right. You're co-chair of the membership committee. What made you lean into Connects? Just how hard you have?
I'd say it was just how welcoming everybody was. I came into the facilities management world with zero experience whatsoever. Mariah Kingan was with DaVita at the time. I was a dialysis technician working for DaVita. She saw something in me that I guess nobody else really saw. She gave me an amazing opportunity. And almost immediately, within a couple of months, I was at my first Connects convention. And everyone there was so incredibly welcoming, willing to sort of teach and guide me through the process. So when an opportunity came up to join the membership committee and to have that impact on somebody else who was joining the organization maybe for the first time, it was something that I couldn't turn down.
I've had this conversation with another facility manager. You and I are probably getting in our third-ish, fourth quarter time, and it's more about giving back now.
Yeah,
It's about mentoring. And so I know with the membership committee, and I know that you probably take FMs under your belt, under your wing, just as a friend,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that's important. So, do you have any mentors right now or mentees that you're working with?
Yeah, and it's funny because you would think being the facilities guy that would be purely from the facility side, but I've almost found myself mentoring the vendors more so because I'm able to offer some perspective. Because for years I worked in sales before I came into the facilities role. So when I see these new members come into the conference, I try and guide them like, hey, don't be this guy. Here's what you can do to really succeed. This is how you can build these relationships. Then, obviously, from the facility side, uh, I have an important title, but I don't consider myself an important person. You know what I mean? So I'd be the last one to offer guidance to people unless they absolutely want it, and maybe I'm good at it. But I just try to be honest and genuine with people. The most important thing out of this, whether it be either side, facilities or vendor side, is just to build relationships with people, be yourself, form friendships, and never stop learning.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. And the one thing, I've been in this industry about a year and a half, in facilities, but I did restaurants, I did property management, so I kind of did the other stuff.
Yep.
But it all comes back to the word relationships,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
When
it's
when Mariah hired me, I reported directly to her. We also worked for Prince Reed, who was formerly with Vita. He's with United Healthcare now. So I really lucked out in the fact that when I came into this industry with zero experience, the people that taught me just about everything I knew were two of the best. So I couldn't have lucked into that anymore.
see, that's awesome. That's
Everything
awesome.
happened for a reason.
Yeah, to have those mentors that help you grow. And I think, the great thing about it is knowing that somebody's going to take a chance on you.
Yeah.
And that feels good. So let's talk about city fitness.
Hmm.
Now, gyms are a different beast. So tell me, you came from DaVita Clinics to a gym. How would you compare those two?
Ooh, it's the phrase that everybody loves to use is apples versus oranges, but it's still fruit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So HVAC is going to be HVAC, plumbing is going to be plumbing, electrical is going to be electrical. Those issues are going to pop up no matter where you're at. The main difference is the challenge when I was in the healthcare industry was like the Centers for Medicare Services. The government wanted to know that you were doing everything up to code. And the challenge now is our members themselves in the gyms. We have three core values, right? Smile, clean, and cutting edge. And if the facilities team isn't on top of things, none of those work, right? Nobody's smiling when it's 85 degrees in the studio, right?
Yeah.
And if things are constantly breaking down, the members aren't going to be happy. So we have to keep on top of that. But we sort of view ourselves more as a hospitality company than an actual gym. Because anybody can line up some treadmills and put some weight benches out, but it's
Yeah.
the experience that we offer our members that differentiates us from the other gyms. So
And that's one thing about facility managers that I don't think people truly appreciate is y'all are a huge part of the experience.
yeah,
And so, these operators, I know they lean on you and they use you for your knowledge, but that that behind the role scene that you take is is why I started this and why I want to put a spotlight on you guys, because we as customers and clients, we don't see all the mixing and all the problems going on that you're having to deal with on a daily basis.
yeah. When everything goes smoothly and it's comfortable in the gyms and nobody has any issues, nobody knows who you are, right? But the minute something goes wrong, the CEO knows your name. you know?
Exactly. Exactly. It is thankless at times,
Yeah,
and you kind of have to be Gumby and go
yeah,
with the flow.
yep. You gotta be flexible.
So let me ask you, because I'm on the vendor side,
Hmm.
what is describe your favorite vendor and tell me why?
Ironically, if I had to name, like, you want an organization or one individual person?
Just a, you don't have to say any names, just
Okay.
a outline them.
Yep. It is a guy who I think I met for the first time face to face at the mid-year conference in October. Okay. And it's somebody that I had never done business with before. I'll give you a little clue in the fact that they joined the membership committee. All right. I was with the membership committee for a couple of years. He joined. I very casually knew him. Uh, See him in the hallway. Hey, how you been? Shake hands. Off you go. All right. When he joined the committee, he reached out to me. He said, "Hey, at the mid-year, we're having this dinner. A couple friends are getting together. I'd really like to get to know you better. Why don't you join us?" I said, "Sure." We were chatting before we went into dinner, and because we were in the middle of a conversation, we wound up sitting next to each other, and we literally just talked life, kids, family, business, the whole 9 yards for like 3 hours, and realized in that one dinner that we were best friends and just never knew it, right? To the point that when my good friend and my co-chair JP Fulton left the membership committee, I asked him to be the co-chair with me, right? And
Okay.
it's been lights out since then. He's a great guy, and none of it would have happened if it wasn't for Connects FM. So this guy now who I'm super super close friends with, both in work and outside of work, was 100% purely because of my connections through Connects FM.
See, that's awesome. And once again, anybody watching, anybody that's new into the facility world, it's about those relationships and getting to know the person and not the facility.
Yeah, and another example is in the very first conference that I ever went to, I met somebody who's like the vice president of business development, right? Not sales, but business development for a rental company. And there has been more than one times where last minute, hey, I need a scissor lift. Hey, the air conditioning died. Can you get me spot coolers? And if I was anyone else, it might not have happened because it was like always, it's always spot coolers go down when it's 96 degrees and everybody wants spot coolers, right? That's when the air conditioning dies. But I've been able to call in favors because I know these people through Connects. And it's a lot easier to tell some guy no, and it's really difficult to tell Steve Ward no because that's your buddy, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, that's what you get for being the mayor of Connects is
Exactly, right?
nobody can say no to you.
So I can count on your vote next year, right?
Yep. Yep. So I have to laugh a little bit because if y'all hear something in the background, Steve had to feed his dog a piece of white bread to go into his bedroom, and we thought that was going to solve it, but it sounds like your dog still wants you.
I'm a popular guy, man. It ain't just vendors that want a piece of Steve Ward, you know?
He's like, "Dad's talking, Dad's talking."
Who are you talking to? Why is there a person in the house?
So we've kind of pounded in facilities as a relationship business, but it's also a high pressure business.
Yeah.
And so what does a normal, no, I never use the word normal. What does
Typical.
a high pressure day look like for you?
Oh, man. It never stops, right? So it sounds totally cliche, but it is a 26-hour a day, 8 day a week job. The universe does not care if I am sitting on my couch eating a bagel in the morning or if I'm at my son's flag football game on a Sunday. You know,
Yeah.
the phone calls will not stop unless you force it, right? There are
Yeah.
times where you have to force yourself to disconnect. Um, I do it every time that I coach my son's 11U travel baseball team. The phone goes on airplane mode, right? And I'll see y'all in a couple of hours.
That's
So
important.
yeah, you have to schedule yourself downtime. Otherwise, you will never have any downtime, and you're going to get burned out.
And and that's one of the things from knowing so many FMs is that work life balance, and it's such a struggle for the newer ones
Yeah.
to be able to balance.
Well,
Because
and the
I
big
mean,
part of that is because they don't want to let people down, right?
yep,
The industry itself, the people that are attracted to these roles are the naturally empathetic people that care about others. They want to make a difference, right? And especially if you're new to your role, you want to impress your boss or you want to make your coworkers happy and let them know that you got their back. So it's really hard for some of us to say no, or it's really hard for some of us to disappoint, you know? So we go out of our way to try and make ourselves as accessible as possible, sometimes at our own detriment. So
so I mean, for the facility managers out there that struggle with work life balance, Steve's recommendation is airplane mode is the best way, and you can get a little time to yourself.
well, and force yourself to find ways to stress relief, right?
Yeah,
Uh, for some people, maybe it's needlepoint. For me, it's going to the gym, right? I get up at 3:45 in the morning so I can go to the gym for like 2.5 hours before the rest of the world wakes up. Yeah, you got to find what allows you to reset mentally and physically, and then embrace that.
Yeah, that's true. Now, you talked about your two mentors when you first came in that took a chance on you. How did they help shape you? What were some things that they brought to you that equipped you to be who you are today?
It's funny. It's sort of a running joke when I talk with Mariah. I learned so much of what I know in facilities from her, but she never answered a question for me. Right? She would always answer a question with a question. You know, hey, Mariah, I'm stuck. What should I do? Well, what do you think we should do? Right? She never gave me the answer. She always showed me how to find the answer. And that's the biggest part of this job is, yeah, you are going to be faced with these seemingly impossible challenges, and you're just going to have to figure out a solution, right? But the good news is you've made it through 100% of all the terrible things you've been through, right?
Yep. Yep. And tomorrow is always a new day.
Yeah.
So that brings me to one of my fun questions I've always asked people. What is the craziest facility nightmare you ever got a call on?
Ooh, I would say I got a call from one of our gyms. So I'll preface this by saying City Fitness is unique in the fact that none of our gyms are exactly the same. Every single gym that we build is custom tailored to the neighborhood that we put it in, right? So right now, all 8 locations are in Philadelphia, but they're in buildings that are unique to that neighborhood. We have one in a part of Philadelphia that's called Old City, right? It's on 3rd Avenue, right near 3rd and Arch. It's around the corner from Independence Hall, where the Declaration of Independence was signed. Really, really cool historic building. Problem with historic buildings is they're really old, right?
Yeah.
So locker rooms were built in the basement. The sub pumps are below them, and they have grinders because all of the piping for the sewer lines were put in 50, 60 years after the building was built, right?
Oh,
So when the cisterns fill to a certain point, they grind and pump everything up to the street level to go out to the sewer. And one of these pumps shut down and the cistern started to back up. And I had an emergency on my hands. And of course, it always happens at like 8 p.m. on Saturday, right? So I made the calls and I called in the favors and I was like, hey, I know you're eating dinner with your family, but I need you. And my guy came out, and one of the amenities that we offer to our members is towel service, both full-size towels for bathing, but then also little like 18 by 12 hand towels for drying off while they're working out and whatnot. And somebody had flushed a hand towel.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, who does that?
Well, I was in the restaurant industry, and
Yeah,
some
okay, fair enough.
that I found out.
Needless to say, the grinder for the pump did not make it through the hand towel. So,
Well, so that's an appreciation for historic buildings, but
yeah.
also kind of a headache for you.
Yeah, nothing is the same. So when a lighting fixture goes out, the source for it is different for every single gym.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So going back to your mentors,
Hmm.
when okay, so she asked you a question to help you find the knowledge and so forth.
Yep.
If you had a mentee right now that came to you and said, Steve, I've got a store in Paluxy that has just had a car driven through it by an 80-year-old lady, and I'm about to have to close down. How can I solve this? What advice would you give them?
So what is done is done. All right. You obviously have to repair the building. Those things are obvious. Anybody's going to figure that out. If a wall collapses, you rebuild the wall. If glass is broken, you replace the glass. But what you need to do is plan for the future. Okay. And then the question I will ask them is, do you know what a bollard is? Okay. So when I first started in facilities, I was doing an assessment of one of the DaVita clinics. And as I was going through and checking the boxes and rating 1 through 5, it asks me, does the building have bollards? And I called one of my fellow facilities managers, a guy named Eric. I called him up. I said, hey, man, I got a favor to ask. He goes, yeah. I said, what in the heck is a bollard? He says, you know those big concrete pillars that are outside the building to keep people from hitting the gas instead of the brakes and driving through the front door? And I said, yeah. He goes, that's a bollard, right?
Yep.
So, A, I would ask them, do you know what a bollard is? B, does your building have bollards? And C, if you decide to install them to prevent this from happening again, make sure they go all the way into the ground. Because I've seen bollards that just like bolt into the concrete. That's not going to do anything.
No, yeah. Well, you answered exactly how I expected you to. It's the old saying is you need to look like a duck, cool, calm, and collected on top of water, but paddling like you know what underneath.
An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. So, what advice would you give someone who wants to get more involved in the industry, but is unlike you and I, shy, and they go to connects and they see it, but they really don't know how to take that first step. What advice would you give them?
And this goes for anything in life. It just translates well to the facilities world or even to, connects specifically, but force yourself out of your comfort zone, right? People play it safe because they're afraid to fail. And the example that I'll give is when you work out in the gym. If you're trying to lift and build muscle mass, right? We force ourselves to lift heavy weights, and we do it over and over and over again until we fail and we can't do it anymore, because we know that when that happens, it's going to stimulate muscle growth.
Yeah.
Professionally, personally, whatever, it should be the exact same way. If you don't force yourself out of your comfort zone and force yourself to fail, you're never going to experience the growth that you need, right? We all want to get places, but the success that you're looking for is hidden behind the work that you're hiding from. You know what I mean?
So it's kind of my favorite saying is, how do you eat an elephant? One
One
bite at
day.
a time.
Yeah.
So if you're looking to get involved, if you want to get in connects or any other association, just take that first step. Walk up to somebody that's smiling and just put out your hand, because
Precisely.
you know what? They put on their pants the same way as you do. And you might get lucky and you might get Steve, and he'll walk you around and introduce you to everybody in the association.
That's my
So
job. No, that's my job. My job is to smile, shake hands, and to help people.
exactly,
Doesn't
exactly.
matter if it's in facilities or if it's in connects. I'm just trying to
Yeah.
help.
Yeah. And you are truly a great ambassador. And I know that Kay and Tammy are probably going to watch this, and they're going to send us a message later, and some little smart thing about us being on here. But they do a great job over there. Connects does a wonderful job. It's a great association to be connected to. And it goes back to the community, the facilities community, and the facilities
Absolutely.
relationships that you build. There are so many people that I know you and I have met along the way that we consider true friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we'll text them and say, "Hey, did the kid win last night?"
Yeah.
And it's cool because when you take that next step and that next level, it's it's life changing. And so I'm gonna put that in a pretty bow with vendor calls you, cold call.
Yep.
Somehow got your cell phone. You don't know how. It says, "Hey Steve, this is Greg from XYZ. I just want to know if we could chat about your plumbing service." How do you respond to that?
I, I try to be grateful, right? Grateful that they looked at the hundreds of facilities people that were there and decided they were going to reach out to me. I also look at it from their shoes, right? It's the same thing that I said when people reached out to me before the conference. If somebody's going to take the time to type what is obviously a personalized email, you can tell when it's just chat GPT, insert name here, etc. Okay. Like you can see when that stuff happens. But if somebody's going to take the time to make a personalized email, for example, I had somebody in my LinkedIn profile. It says that blah blah blah, Steve Ward, director of facilities dude, dad, baseball coach, etc. A guy emailed me before the conference. He goes, "Hey, facilities dude, love the LinkedIn profile. Can we get together?" I'm going to write that name and that booth number down, and I'm going to make a point to stop by, because if you're going to take the time and the effort to reach out to me, then the least that I can do is give you 2 minutes of my time to get to know you. maybe you're a fit and we wind up doing business together. Maybe you're not a fit. And you know what? If you're a decent person and I like you and somebody goes to me and they go, hey, do you have a vendor for this? I go, well, I don't, but I know a guy, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. And that's, that's, I love that you say that because, from the business development, the client relationship people, they send emails all the time and they don't get answered. And I know it's a frustrating point for them, but I try to make it more fun. One of my big things I say is I'm horrible at baseball. I was never a good pitcher, so I'm not going to pitch slap you.
That's great.
And it's those small things like that that just show you're human, and it builds that human connection.
Exactly.
So we're going to end it with our two questions that I end
Cool.
every show with.
Okay.
And I'll give you an option, whether it's going to be facilities or life, but what hill will you die on?
I'm going to give you two answers then because I can't play by the rules. All right.
Okay.
I'm going to give you the professional one and I'm going to give you the personal one.
Okay.
Professional one, I already said it earlier today, but an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. If you spend a little bit of money with preventative maintenance, it'll save you a lot of money on reactive maintenance. Okay. From a personal standpoint, it's Monty Python and the Quest for the Holy Grail is top 5 comedy movies of all time.
Yeah, I think you just aged both of us. Thanks,
Yeah.
Steve. All right, the second one, and this one always kind of stumps people, but I heard it from a guy and I fell in love with it. But what's the one question I didn't know to ask you in this talk, but I should have asked you?
All right. So those who knew the answer to the first question are going to understand my answer to the second question. What is the wing speed of an unladen swallow?
What is it?
African or European?
Well, I tell you what, this has been enjoyable, and like I said when we started this and went down this road, it's probably going to end up two guys sitting by a fire talking. And I'm blessed to have you on the show, and I appreciate your time and taking the time out. And I will see you at the next conference, and
Absolutely.
I'll
I'll be
let
the
you
midyear in
I'll let
Louisville.
you walk me around, and we'll you know what we'll do? We'll campaign for you.
Beautiful. I listen. I'm going to run for the board, and one of these times I'll make it on the ballot. So I'm looking forward to it.
I'll be your campaign manager.
Beautiful.
All right, brother. Well, we appreciate you coming on, and to everybody watching, we appreciate y'all,
Yeah.
and
Thank you.
have a blessed day. We'll see you next time.
You too. See you, buddy.